Hi everyone, you're welcome to our series on instructional planning and design. Kindly recall that in the last video before this one on this channel, we highlighted some aspects of the teacher professional development that we'll be doing some video classes on. And by the way, the videos in this channel are labeled with a serial number which shows the sequence upon which they were uploaded. So in today's series, we shall be narrowing down on instructional planning and design, and it's going to be in series. So today, what we'll be doing today concerning instructional planning and design is an overview of the outline, an overview of the content that we'll be talking about as it pertains to instructional planning and design. So as you can see on the board, overview of instructional planning and design. So number one, on what we are going to be discussing about is operational definition of terms and concepts. Here we'll be looking at the various definitions out there and a synthesis of what exists out there in such a way that we can have an operational definition or a working definition of the relevant terms and concepts under the general theme of instructional planning and design. And number two will be time frames in instructional planning. So we're going to be looking at the different levels of planning as it has to do with time, the annual, the terminal, the unit, the weekly, and the daily aspect of instructional planning. And we should not also forget about the periodic plan, which has to do with the 6344 or 93 or whatever it is that is in operation out there. The crux of that is we'll be able to understand how instructional planning is being chunked as it relates to the time in view. Number three will be an elucidation or a clarification of some confusing terminologies in instructional planning and design. So under this, we'll be looking at some of the terminologies that are usually confused or usually interchanged, which has a functional bearing on your performance as a professional educator if you are going to succeed with instructional planning and design. So we're going to be looking at terminologies like steps, procedures and models, methods, strategies and tactics. Then number four will be how to plan, that is planning a highly interactive, effective and all-inclusive lesson. So just a little bit of a peep into that will be under interactiveness, that is under the aspect of making the lesson interactive or planning an interactive lesson. We'll be looking at pre-teaching, the choice of a procedure, and enrichment. When it comes to making the plan effective, which we'll come to understand in details, we'll come to discuss and explain in details what all that means and implies. We'll be looking at the same reflection of enrichment under effectiveness, right? Okay, now there's a quick one here. This arrow is actually supposed to come from effective. Okay, so why these are under interactive, this should be under the quality of effectiveness. All right, now so we're looking at enrichment under effectiveness. and Bloom's taxonomy. And then under all inclusiveness, that is the aspect of all inclusive, we're looking at differentiation, timing, which is extended timing, and language or alternate means of communication. And after that, number 5 will be hands-on on lesson plan. We'll be doing a hands-on. That means we'll practically write out a lesson plan using a specific sample, which will not be a golden rule, but just to give a tentative guide on what it actually means to write out a lesson plan. So we're doing a hands-on. That will be on number 5. And then number 6 will be how to write an effective and efficient chalkboard summary. So we're looking at the details of this, what it means to be effective and what it means in terms of the quality of being efficient. Chalkboard summary, which is the lesson note, which naturally follows and technically follows from the lesson plan. All right, number 7 is in a different color highlighted. Special package on lesson plan. This one has to do with marketing the school using the lesson plan. That means how to drive the school's vision and mission statement using the lesson plan. And this will require some special skills. That's why we call it special package on lesson plan. We're looking at that too. Okay, entry behavior. In other words, what qualifies the viewers to participate in this in the subsequent classes on instructional planning and design. What qualifies participation? So the entry behavior here will be as low or as basic as your interest. So long as you're going to be watching this video, you're going to be qualified, or you're going to be able to benefit from the content therein. What that means is that it's a complete dummies guide. We're going to start right from the start, in such a way that whether or not you're a professional by training or professional by practice, whether or not you are a formal educator or teacher, so long as the interest exists in you to have clicked onto this video, it does mean that you are interested in seeing what is going on here. So we're going to start in a way that you can follow. So it's going to be a complete dummies guide, right? So that's why we're going to chunk them into series after series. That's the entry behavior. Now the behavioral objective. The behavioral objective, that means what should be your take home, or what are the expected outcomes, or what we would like to see at the end of the day that have changed in your ability concerning instructional planning and design, or what you should be able to do in simple language after following us through this the whole of these classes. The behavioral objectives are as follows. At the end of the series on instructional planning and design, the viewer who has followed us from the beginning all through to the end should be able to, one, in an oral or verbal context, in an oral or verbal context, define instructional planning and design with 100% accuracy. Then 2, also in an oral or verbal or written context, should be able to explain the relevance of each of the common terms and concepts associated with instructional planning. Should be able to explain the relevance of this concept to lesson plan. In other words, at the end of this lesson, the viewer should be able to, in an oral or written context, explain the relevance of each of the common concepts herein discussed as it pertains to instructional planning and design to lesson plan. So the relevance of the concepts, understanding of the concepts to your lesson planning, that you should be able to explain with 70 to 80% accuracy. Number 3, still on the behavioral objective. At the end of the classes, the viewer should be able to plan a highly effective and interactive lesson. Then number 4, number 3, the condition, because the behavioral objective has to contain the standard, the condition, and the performance. So the condition for behavioral objective 3 is that in a formal setting, in a formal teaching setting, that means in a formal academic setting in a school, the viewer should be able to plan a highly interactive and effective lesson. Then finally, number 4, giving working and writing materials in the form of papers or computers, and access to resource materials like library or other relevant sources of information, a scheme of work. The viewer should be able to write a professional lesson plan. So this is a brief run through of the content of what we are going to be doing or discussing under the theme instructional planning and design. So this is the overview. So God's willing, in our subsequent videos, we're going to pick them one after the other in a way that will allow us to narrow in thoroughly, starting from the operational definition of terms and concepts and moving through to gradually and pace-wise up until 7, where we'll be talking about a special, or we should be discussing or exposing ourselves to something special on the lesson plan, which is how to use the lesson plan to drive the school's vision and mission statement, which supposedly is the climax of one's understanding or application of the lessons herein gained. Thank you very much for your time. Till our next video, we hope to see you there. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.